joined by one of the biggest up-and-coming females in the UK. Well, I'd possibly say in Europe at the moment, to be fair. She's training out of an incredible gym, Team Underground, which anyone who watches the show, you obviously know who that is, because we've had Steve Cook, the head coach, on, rest his soul. We've had Jay on, we've had the Jurits, we've had Harry Keane, and now I'm absolutely honoured to have Shanelle Dyer on the show. Shanelle, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for giving up your time. I guess that's all we really got at the moment, isn't it? Time.
Yeah.
What you've been doing yourself? Because obviously, before we go into your fights and stuff, like you haven't been fighting for too long, but you've done so much, and you fought 3 times last year. You're one of the lucky people to fight this year. That was probably the last time anyone could have fought. You know what I mean? What's that doing to you?
A week before.
Yeah, a week before.
Yeah, because I had 3 MMA fights last year, but what most people don't know, I've had like 15 Thai boxing fights as well. So I actually fought 20 times last year, and I only fought 1 time this year. So it's really hard. I'm just focusing more on training and trying to better myself. So when fights do come up, I can fight even better than before.
I thought you were going to say 15 fights just generally. In 1 year you had that.
No, I had 20 fights last year, and I won 18 of them.
Yeah. Wow, that's incredible, and you're only so young as well.
Yeah.
I love seeing it. I'm 33 myself, and I'm past it now, but it's great to see all the youngs like yourself, the young up and comers, because it's just great how MMA has become such like a growing sport in the UK.
Yeah.
Like, it is the fastest growing sport in the UK. Like, how blessed do you feel that you've come into this now when it's just so popular? Because 10 years ago, you may never have,
Yeah, especially because I started when I was about 9 years old, around 9, 10. Not MMA, Muay Thai, and the Muay Thai scene was really, really quiet. The fighting scene, especially in the UK, was like really, really quiet back then. And I kind of gave it up after 3 years of doing it, because there was kind of no point staying on, because there was no progression, especially in the UK. But I came back when I was about 15 years old, and I could see like the progression of the fighting sports. So that's why I kind of kept going.
And what must be great as well is it's great, first of all, that you've got background in stand-up anyway, which we will see in your previous fights as well. But you've come into it. So you finding it's nice getting to learn MMA as a whole, opposed to going to one gym for jiu-jitsu, one gym for Muay Thai, one gym for this. You can actually just learn MMA as a whole sport now.
Yeah.
Helpful.
Actually, I fight from 2 gyms, Team Underground and Nosy. I do Thai boxing at Nosy majority of the time, and I do all my MMA training and jiu-jitsu and stuff down at Team Underground. So I fight basically for both gyms.
Well, you've got good, you've definitely got good grappling coaches down in Underground.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Steve's no joke on the ground,
Yeah.
I know I've heard from Steve all the stories down there. It seems like a nice family, but don't turn your back, because there might be a big weight.
Yeah, definitely. There's always something going on, someone trying to set you up or something. There's a lot of bants down that Team Underground. I loved it. That's the reason why I kind of stayed, because in the beginning I hated MMA. I said a lot like 2 years ago, but Steve always tried to get me into it, and I came down to Team Underground and I did like jiu-jitsu classes and stuff like that. I still don't really like it, but like the vibe of the whole of Team Underground, and that just kept me staying. The people in there, the jokes, the laughs, the nights out, everything just kept me staying, and that's how I started my MMA career.
Yeah, I've heard the stories. I would play if it was my birthday. I wouldn't be at Team Underground training. But no, I'm definitely coming to Steve, so I can definitely come down there, because as much as you have fun down there, I know you train hard, because Steve says like you pay for someone to watch these sparring sessions in my gym, and I'd love to get that. So
literally, like even yesterday, like in the sparring, you have like people just like beating each other up. Like you have like proper fights going on in the gym. Like the whole gym stops and watches, and we have like a referee like doing the fights, and you just like watch the fights. It's so entertaining.
No, I bet it is. I've seen videos of like Will Druitt and them guys training. I'm thinking, God, you guys.
Yeah, you even get like the small people fighting, like the people that's like 150 kg, and the small people beating up the 150 kg people. It's amazing.
No, I'm sure you're doing the same, showing up some of those lads as well. And is there many other girls down at Team Underground, or do you mainly train with the lads?
Mostly the lads, but Chloe's there. Obviously, she's my training partner. We do most of our stuff together, get each other ready for fight
Of
camps and
course,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Chloe Cook,
Yeah.
or Fisher Cook, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another nice thing as well. Like you got in there, and there is that family feel, because obviously Steve's got his family in there, and he must really trust what he can do for his kids. Otherwise, he wouldn't put them in there. That must fill you with more confidence as well.
Yeah, Steve looks after me as well. He always tries to give me like the best fights, and tries to not if someone's going a bit too hard on me, he always tells them to like slow down, stuff like that. But he always tells me to beat up everyone.
They won't mess with you. That's it for sure.
Yeah.
And did you know anyone in Team Underground before joining there?
Yeah, obviously. Cause before my team Nosey, cause John, you know Jonathan. He
Haggerty.
Yeah, he fights for Nosey as well. So I've known him from there, and obviously I know a lot of the kids there. I don't really know the MMA team, but I knew a lot of the kids from around the scene, the Muay Thai scene, and I know David and Chloe and Steve from Muay Thai and K1 around. I kind of knew them before I started.
Okay, only because I think when obviously we had the rest. Obviously, I'll give a shout out obviously to Jay, who passed away. Obviously you two seem quite close anyway. A lot of pictures together and stuff. I thought you may have known each other before. Before.
No, I met him at Team Underground, and he like the first time I saw him, I thought he was like a legit UFC Bellator fighter.
He'd love that.
Yeah, in the beginning I was kind of scared to talk to him because he was like such an amazing fighter, and then even though when I found out that he wasn't, I still kept the same level of respect for him, and like devastating, but.
Yeah, no, sorry. I know it's a sad subject with JM. I know, but again, he lit up the room for a lot of people. Every time he was everywhere I was. He was at Fusion backstage. He was at Bellator backstage. I'm like, Jay, you want to be around everywhere.
He always came. He always supported us and everything. I think after the time that we actually went really close was, I think it was when when everyone fought in Troxy. When Steve fought and everyone fought, and then we went on a bend on a night out, and then me and Jay, the picture when I was lying on Jay, we woke up in like a random person's house. We had no idea where we were. We were just lost. we was lost.
I don't care where I am. If I had Jay next to me, I'd feel quite safe anyway. Yeah, exactly. I'd feel very safe, and yeah, I know, but all I'd like to say is that anyone who says he made it to the UFC, in my eyes, Darren Stewart had the T-shirt there. That was, do you know what? When I was watching it, I was like, oh, I did not expect that. Yeah, man, legend, and yeah, respect to Jay, and rest his soul, man. He was the life and party, but do you know what? He'll be looking down now and seeing what wants to see you guys, girls who's been training with, and get to the same sort of level, which I'm sure is very possible.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I took because he was a nightmare in it, so I kind of took that on. Because I don't have a stage name, so I kind of took that on as my stage name, trying to take it to the top.
No, that's it. I talked to a lot of fighters, but I know you haven't got the official nickname. But like, where'd you get your nicknames from and stuff?
Yeah.
And such a fantastic story behind. Well, a sad story, but honourable story behind it all. And honestly, I think you guys are going to do so good, and he'll be in your corner, even if you can't see him there. He'll be there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the main thing. And but yeah, so I'll move on from that one now. But yeah, thanks for talking about that. I appreciate it, Shanelle. I had a lot of time for Jay, and a lot of time for me when I saw him. So obviously back to your career. So you've been fighting. A lot of people look at your record and say, "Oh, you've been fighting for a year," but you've obviously been doing Muay Thai and all that stuff. So I'll tell you what. Let's rewind it back to the beginning, like a "This is your life" sort of thing. Yeah? Right. So what did you see? Or what did you hear that initially made you want to do a combat sport?
Nothing really, because I was always like active when I was younger. I used to do football, running, swimming, all of that. So I was always active, and then me and my sister and my whole family. I have 5 siblings, and all of them were really active as well. But my brothers used to do boxing, and then so me and my sister went round, did football, dancing, all of that, and we didn't really click. So I went to a boxing gym when I was 9 years old, and I just fell in love with it.
That's it. No, that's it. I completely agree with you. And sorry, my mum's neighbours just come round. Sorry, mate, it's typical, isn't it, when I'm doing that? One sec. Sorry, Shanelle. 1 second. Very unprofessional. Hi, Val. I am on an interview. Thank you. Sure. Well, sorry, Mum's just gone out, and obviously she's taken the dog for a walk and left the front door open. Yeah, sorry about that. Right, so where was I? Yeah, so what? So it was you said your brothers were into boxing and things like that. Was that something they wanted you to try and do as well? Because I'm sure brothers can be overprotective. They want to know you can look after yourself.
Yeah, they really wanted me to like kind of know how to like defend myself, because I grew up in a white city estate, and my parents do really want me to like hang around in the estate, like the kids always hanging around, so they always wanted us to keep busy and that. So they took us to the gym to give us like something to focus on and defend ourselves in case anything goes wrong. So that's why I kind of stayed in.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've got a daughter, being my first kid being born in literally 6 weeks. It's going to be a daughter. And I've told Steve as well, mate, as soon as she's old enough, she's coming to your gym and training with your girls, I'm telling you. Because it's just nice to know, you know. And I love seeing those videos on Facebook now where these men think, oh, they can be all like this with women. But then the women just turn around and annihilate them. And I love those. I think you hear like MMA female tried to get mugged last year and she turned around and put the guy in hospital. You know, so that's what I absolutely love about this sport. So you got into boxing. So what then transitioned you to the Muay Thai scene, the Thai fighting? So
I started with Muay Thai actually. I did kickboxing at a boxing gym. So All Stars is a boxing gym, but they did that kickboxing on the side. So I did the kickboxing. I started off the kickboxing.
Okay, so you started with the kickboxing, and then it's the Muay. Because one thing I love, was it Thai boxing you did or Muay Thai?
Muay Thai boxing, the same thing.
Or is it the same thing? Yeah,
it's the same thing.
We had this chat the other day on an interview, trying to say, I'm glad you cleared that up, because they were saying, well, Muay Thai is different to Thai boxing. I was like, but is it? I said, well, I understand that one competition, they have some crazy music playing in the background, do you know what I mean? That's a fighting style. And I was saying, no, but he goes, no, but Thai boxing's different rules to Muay Thai. I said, you know when you don't want to argue with the fighter? You know when you don't want to argue? Oh, yeah, okay.
Was there a Thai boxer? Was there a Thai box fighter?
Yeah, they're a Thai boxer. Yeah. And they're like,
same thing.
I thought so. It's all elbows and still all that stuff, yeah. And you still have the rope around your head, you know what I mean? Stuff. And what is with that crazy music they play? It gets faster and faster and faster.
Yeah. In the beginning, like people that don't really listen to it, they think, oh, it's annoying, but I love it. I love it. Yeah, but I think it's like part of the tradition and stuff like that. It's back from centuries ago.
It's like you're fighting on a market, like a marketplace. Background noise going on and stuff like that. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, someone left their phone on or something. I was like, what's going on here? But I understand why they do it, because they speed the pace up of the music, don't they? It gets you more going, sort of thing. So how did you find then transitioning to MMA then, like the groundwork and things like that? How did you find doing that first? Did you really enjoy it, or were you not too fond? What was the feeling?
I was not too fond of that, the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. When I started last year January, and I just got submitted by everyone, like literally, and it was frustrating. Obviously, I said a lot coming from that kind of the top of one sport, which you can do naturally. You've been doing it for years, that's your thing, and going to a different sport and like starting all the way from the beginning again, it's kind of like hard as well. But I kept on going, and I got a bit better at it. So.
Yeah, I'm sure
I kind of like it. And I still prefer punching people in the face.
Of course, every fight starts in the feet, doesn't it? You know? You know what I mean? But if you look at the UFC and some of these bigger organisations, you see quite a lot of wrestling with the female division as well. A lot of them like to grapple and things.
I enjoy wrestling actually better than jiu-jitsu. I like wrestling.
Yeah, so because jiu-jitsu, I know. Do you do no-gi or both jiu-jitsu? Gi or no-gi?
Usually no-gi. But I'm starting a bit more gi nowadays.
Yeah,
trying to get the blue belt in it.
Yeah, Steve will get you on that one for sure. Yeah. And now I can't wait for you to get your belt. Just make sure they don't do the ceremony when you win your belt. Yeah, God, that looks savage. But no, fantastic. It's great. So yeah, it's great you're enjoying that side of things, because I said fights are going to go there. So obviously you've done all you were training. What, you've only been training for what, a year and 9 months or something like that? 9 months MMA.
Yeah.
But you've already managed to fight on one of the biggest stages in Europe 3 times. as well. So, first of all, what does that do for your confidence, knowing that you've been able to compete at that high level straight away?
Yeah, because in the beginning of MMA, like last year January, Steve was always like, "Oh, yeah, you're gonna fight at the end of the year, the end of the year." But I ended up fighting like 4 months into my MMA career, and I took the fight in Cage Warriors in like a 1 week notice, and I technically like jumped in the deep end, and that win meant a lot for me because that actually proved to me that I can actually make in the MMA career. Cause before I used to never think that I would ever gonna do MMA, and that kind of solidified my dream of becoming MMA fighter.
Yeah, no, that's it. And what a great way to start, on the Southeast show. Amazing. I know a lot of the underground guys and girls have gone through there as well. So Chloe's the champion down there as well, and things like that. And it's a great pathway. Steve's got you on and said it's a great show to be on as well. And so what did you find? How did you find that? Obviously, you're used to fighting in rings, so I know you're used to that pressure, of getting into a ring. What was it like getting into a cage and the door shutting on you?
It was a bit weird getting like locked in a cage. Like obviously there's no escape. Even though I was never gonna escape. There's like no escape. We're like closed in as well. And obviously in Thai boxing and Muay Thai and that you can use the ropes to like bounce back. But when you're in the cage and you go back, there's like a lot of wall control and stuff like that. So it's kind of different as well.
It is, and you find some organisations a lot now. Excuse me, do them in a ring as well.
Like one championship and that.
One doing.
Yeah, I think that would be so hard actually doing like cage control into ropes. That would be so difficult. Like
I just think it'd be so easy to just go flying over the ropes.
Yeah, like when you're trying to like climb up the cage, you can't climb up ropes. It would be so difficult.
I don't think you're supposed to climb up the cage.
No, not like climb up the cage like that. When you're using your back to like use the cage to like get back
walking.
Up.
Yeah. Because obviously the rope, you're just gonna fall through it, aren't you? Exactly. As well, But then it's got its upsides. Like if you're throwing submissions and stuff, you're not going to have your head pressed up against the cage and things like that. So it has its ups and downs. And then the other one that's odd. Have you noticed Bellator? They use a round cage. They don't use an octagon. If you ever look, their cage is round. There's no sides to it. It's completely round. So, and then now I'm seeing boxing rings that convert to cages like during the night.
Yeah. I saw one show done that. They did like a cage to a ring. They were so mad.
I know, it's like, oh, quickly, we're just going to put the ring up now. So what do you mean? they just take literally put the ropes up, take the cage off, and it's done. Well, this is pretty impressive stuff, to be fair. So you got to fight on there, and so you made that walk down, cage closed. You're thinking, this is it now. This is MMA. Did you know much about your opponent? Obviously, you had a week to find out about it, didn't you?
I knew nothing about my opponent until I just even before all of my fights, I don't really know much about my opponents. I just go in to fight.
Don't get your mind busy thinking about what they're going to do. Think about there are some fighters that don't even look at their opponents straight.
I don't look at them as well. Like I'm fighting in like 2 weeks. I have no idea who my opponent is. I just go there to fight. Like I might go watch their latest fight for like 10 seconds, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's all you think. Are you fighting on? If you're allowed to, if you're allowed or not to say it, are you going to be fighting on the Cage Warriors shows, the ones in October coming up?
I didn't even know they're doing a show in October.
No, September. Sorry, not October. September. They're doing 3 shows, aren't they, back to back?
No, that's a professional show there.
I thought they were chucking a few Emmys on there. To be fair, are you allowed to announce where you're fighting or not?
I think.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I don't
know.
Do it. It depends when this gets released and when they release the fight poster.
Well, we'll leave that then, sort of thing. But anyway, so you've got fight up in 2 weeks. Are you 3 weeks? Or you're in? When first of all, when did you find out about that?
Last week.
Okay, so you got a bit more time this time to prepare. Okay, that's good. That's good. And is it handy? Obviously, with Corona lockdown, obviously it's eased up now. Is it a lot better to be able to go back in the gym and train with the people and just start getting back in the flow? Because otherwise, I'm not saying you weren't training through lockdown. You know what I mean, like home and stuff like that. But is it just an absolute relief now? You can get back in the gym and train with all them.
Yeah, definitely. Because Muay Thai and that you can do a lot of that by yourself training. But especially like jiu-jitsu and MMA, you have to have like a partner to train with and that kind of team to train with. So I'm really glad that the team's opening back up. And we have a lot of new fighters coming out of Team Underground as well. A lot of new people coming in to like spar with. So it's been a great 3 weeks of training.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people now want to, and as I say, it's getting so popular that
Yeah.
it's like, after this Corona thing, it's like, people New Year, they all start going to the gym.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, like after New Year, you always get those influx of people coming in and training, and now it's technically the same. People had like epiphanies when Corona was going on to like fix up their life, like do MMA or stuff like that. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I found probably 15 kilos over lockdown, so
yeah,
that is the problem. So during lockdown, because I said you're a, oh no, sorry. Before I go on to that, back to your fight we were talking about against Tori Svensson. So you went into that fight. I think she was a bit shocked. To be fair, I'm
yeah,
surprised she didn't go for a takedown. But to be honest with you, I don't think she had a chance. You
yeah,
know, you went in there and really showed off your Muay Thai skills for sure with those kicks and things like that. And even the commentators were saying about it, saying, "Wow, like she's definitely a world class Muay Thai fighter," sort of thing. And do you think Tori was a bit like overwhelmed? Because obviously you beat her in the first round. She didn't really throw much after that. I think she was a bit shocked.
yeah. I think after like the first kick, I gave her like a really powerful kick. I could see in her eyes that she didn't really want to be in the ring after that. So I just had fun with it and won the fight.
No, I literally watched that fight. I think yesterday. I think I watched that
Yeah.
fight again, and no, I just saw the girl's face at the other side of the cage. She was like, "Yeah, this is going to be easy." And then, literally halfway through the first round, her face was like, "Oh shit." Do you know what I mean? So, but no, it was great forward pressure, overwhelming, and you look like you've been doing it for years, honestly.
Yeah.
So, as you said, you felt comfortable, you felt solid in there, and it's fantastic. And then you go and win. You go and win again 3 months later. You go and fight in ECMA.
Yeah.
Another tough fight. Like, obviously, that was tougher because obviously this girl's had 5 fights to her name as well. Destroyed her by decision. Fantastic. Then you went back to Cage Warriors as well, which again is just fantastic. I think it was the very next show they did, wasn't it?
Yeah. Was it? Yeah. The
Yeah, yeah.
October cards.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, the initial one was 23, the second one was 24. Yeah, so did you know? So was that a week's notice again? That thing? How did that
Yeah,
one?
that fight. I was meant to fight a different girl, but she pulled out. She was a stand-up fighter, and I had a couple fights before that fight, so I knew she was a stand-up fighter. So I wasn't really focusing on the jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But then she pulled out a week before, and I didn't think that I was going to be fighting. Then they said that they had another fighter from Sweden, Bezzy, that I was going to fight her, and she was like a really, really great fighter. So I took that on a 1 week notice, both of us, and we had an amazing fight.
I love the attitude of a few fighters down at Underground. Yeah, she's great, but I don't care. I'm getting in there. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing I do like about you, which unfortunately is not the same with everyone. You are literally happy to take any fight within reason.
Yeah.
You don't want to build your record. I mean you do, but I mean you want to build your on. But you know what I mean. You don't want to fight 0 and 40 people just to get to 8 and 0. Yeah, you want the toughest fights.
Yeah, definitely, especially for me. Even people are saying that now. People are like, "Oh, don't take this fight," or like, "Oh, look at your record," blah blah blah. I'm just like, I don't care. I just want to fight. Fighting's fun for me, and that's about it. I just want to fight. I don't really care. Like, you should care about your record, but I don't really care. I just want to fight.
Records are for DJs. Don't worry about it. Look at
No.
Mark Hunt in the UFC. He's got a
Yeah.
negative record, and he's one of the all-time greats.
Exactly.
People want, like Dana White always says in the UFC, he goes, I don't care if you've done a 4-fight losing streak. If you go in there and have it out every time and you go for it, I'll keep you in the UFC. It's as simple as that. But I've seen guys get cut after 1 loss after 3 wins because they're boring. They just want to. They want to do anything. So. It's just amazing, like the attitude and everything. You just seem so grown up, someone of your own. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You don't look grown up. You still look young. Don't wrong, but you act so like mature. And do you find this sport has really obviously matured you? From the younger days, especially obviously knowing where, no disrespect, you said where you grew up and stuff. You didn't want to hang around the street. Was it really important that you had something like this to focus on, opposed to getting led astray?
Yeah, definitely. It taught me a lot of discipline from the early days, doing stuff that you didn't really want to do, but you had to do. So, and it really kept me in line. So I've learned so much in the sport. I incorporate what I learn in the sport into everyday life every single day. It's taught me so much about myself as well. So even through fights, pushing myself to a limit, I learned so much about myself mentally, and so that's kind of why I love it as well.
No, it's great, and it's honestly, I love to hear it. I just hope my daughter says the same thing you do when she's older. But it's one of those things that if you love it, great. If you don't, then it doesn't matter, sort of thing. But have you heard of a lady called MMA fighter Lanchana Green? She's a Thai fighter. She's from up north. She was a Thai fighter, and she was in the Ultimate Fighter and stuff like that. She hated MMA when she did it. She actually just wanted to cry the whole time, but now she absolutely loves it. Now she fought in the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff, and and she did that after one fight. She got called up to the Ultimate Fighter. So the options I just find the female division is building so quickly now, but it still needs more people in there. Especially in the UK, I get asked a lot. Oh, I need this level. I need a professional or an amateur female fighter, and it's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, there's so much little fighters, goal wise in the UK, especially at certain weights. There's not a lot of 52 kg fighters. There's a lot of heavy 57 and 61 kg fighters, but even that on a high level, there's not really a lot of fighters. That's why I find it hard. Like me and Chloe as well find it really hard to get fights, because Cage Warriors do great getting us fights because they fly people over. But a lot of shows in the UK, they don't really have a lot of money to do that, so they have to get fighters from the UK, and there's not really high level fighters for us to fight. So we're not really gaining that much experience that we really want.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? It doesn't look in your career. Thankfully, you haven't had to worry about that because you've had some good fighters. I'm sure I don't think you haven't actually fought anyone from the UK yet. You know what I mean? I don't think was that. Well, I say from the UK, actually UK, like you know what I mean, like British sort of origins.
Yeah.
Well, looking at the names, they don't look like they're from the UK. But but then I don't want to talk about it too much. But your last fight, okay. First of all, you must have been absolutely buzzing being given an amateur title fight within 18 months of your contract. How are you feeling when Steve called up says title fight time now?
Yeah, I kind of knew from the last time, the last Cage Warriors fight, because he said, Mason, he said that if I win this fight, I get the title shot on the next show. But I didn't really know who I was going to be fighting. But when it actually got confirmed, I was so excited. But I was kind of worried as well because I was in Thailand at the time, and I was meant to spend the whole year in Thailand. So I was kind of scared that I was going to miss the opportunity and someone else was going to get it, because I actually flew back from Thailand to actually do the Cage Warriors fight. I was only meant to stay in the UK for like 2 weeks after the Cage Warriors fight, but obviously they closed the borders and everything. And I got stranded.
Oh, you've been better to be stuck in Thailand, eh? That'd have been all right.
But they had lockdown as well, so.
Yeah, true. You would have been stuck in Thailand with no friends or no family and close friends there, sort of thing, and just in a foreign country.
Nothing.
No one's going to mess with you. It's all right. Don't worry. You're all good. But what a fun. So obviously, unfortunate outcome. But what did you learn a lot from that fight though? Is this something you learned from? Because at the end of the day, no one likes to have a loss. But the greatest fighters in the world have had losses. Conor McGregor's had losses. All the heavyweight, Daniel Cormier, John Jones. Things like that. It happens, sort of thing. How are you feeling after that? Obviously, did you feel disheartened or did you feel eager to learn and get back in and improve?
After the fight, that was the first time ever, I think, in my career that I've been TKO'd. So after the fight, I was so devastated. Like behind stage, I was so devastated. But after a while, I just because I think I learned more after a loss than a win. Because a win, you're like, yeah, you did great, whatever. But then after a loss, you actually really think back of how you fought, what went well, and what you could do to improve. So I watched back that fight, and I think I didn't fight as good as I did previously, and I think a lot of things went wrong, and I didn't really feel comfortable in that fight compared to the other fight. So I've learnt really a lot from that fight.
Well, obviously you got the stress of a title fight anyway, but did you feel a bit of extra pressure because you had to, rush back to the UK, fly back, and it was more like, oh, I've had to fly back for this as well as it being a title fight. This has got to be this has got to work. Did you find extra pressure because of that?
Yeah, there was an extra pressure, but for me, I don't really cave into pressure that much. I just kind of just want to fight my best and see, and if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. I'm still amateur, so I just kind of testing out different styles, testing out different stuff, try to do kind of stuff that I've learned in Thailand, and try to see kind of what's best for me and kind of what style works for me, especially in the MMA scene.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what it's all about, you know. And at amateur, this is the time to lose and learn, you know. Something at amateur, and you know, you only come back stronger from it, you know. And there's nothing worse. I hate seeing when someone's had like 3 AMI losses in a row and they turn pro. It's the worst thing. I hate seeing, you know. But I said, Steve. Well, I'm sure Steve and you will chat about when it's time to go pro, you know. But the good thing is he does keep you lot at AMI. Look at Will Drew at 7-1 and stuff. Oops, sorry. Was that someone
Yeah, that's my mum. She's in there.
No, sorry. Everything all right?
Yeah. People always come on. She's going through yeah. People always ask like, when am I going pro and stuff like that. But I think I want to do a couple more amateur fights before I can turn pro, because in Muay Thai I think I turned pro at the right level, right time. I was comfortable in my fighting, and it was natural to me. I can fight like today, tomorrow, in 5 minutes, and I will fight like the best that I can fight. And MMA is still a bit more. I have to think about certain stuff. I'm still testing. I still want to have a couple more fights and test certain stuff. So I want to have at least 2, 3 more maybe amateur fights and see how those go before I can turn pro.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing you and Chloe, you know, grow together in that, you know, because it's something you grow. She's tiny though, isn't she, Chloe? Is she lower weight herself?
She fights at 52, and I fight at 57. But actually, I walk around 57, 58, so I don't cut anymore. So Steve wants me to go down to 52. I made that last year on the ECMMA show. I fought at 52. So I think 52 is my proper weight I should fight at, especially at MMA. And I think Chloe's going down to 48.
Oh wow, that's tiny, isn't it, man? What weight class is that now? We at atom weight, or what we at now?
Atom weight. Because Cage Rose on the last show, they made the atom weight title belt. So I think she's gonna go down for that one, and I'm gonna go down. She's gonna vacate the 52 kg belt for me to go down.
And take that one.
Yeah.
We can't have you two fighting each other. It's the last thing we need to see. We'll see it in the gym and sparring. That'd be worth a watch.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to see you guys competing against each other. So that's exciting. And so, unlike a lot of people, you've got stuff coming up. You've got fights coming up soon. You've got something to focus on. You've got something which is obviously incredible. Are you fighting? Are you fighting in the UK?
Yeah.
Oh, you are fighting in the UK.
Liverpool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly where you're fighting, but I'm not going to say it because I've been looking for fights to that card as well. Okay, so no, but that's a great opportunity. Another organisation on your record as well that you fought at. So it's nice that you get around a few of them, because some people literally just fight at one organisation their whole life, like which isn't a bad thing. Like I know Harry Keane, he's grown up all through UCMMA and stuff like that with O'Donnell's lot and things like that, which is great. But you've been to Thailand, you fought Muay Thai at different events, now you're fighting in MMA at different events.
Yeah, and
you sure you're only 19? You've done a lot.
Yeah, I know. I've done so much. And even in Muay Thai as well, I fought in different countries. I fought in Italy twice, Ukraine, and Germany, and Turkey. Turkey when I was like 11 years old for a world title fight. So I fought around a lot of different places. And I don't believe in like fighting in one organization unless you're like signed and getting big money for them.
Yeah, like this is like UFC or something, Bellator.
Yeah, because you need to get used to like different atmospheres and different organizations, because every organization is run differently, and you can't really get used to like one proper organization. You need to like experiment in different organizations.
That's it, and also you're jumping between gyms as well, which is good. You know, you've got a couple of gyms for striking and jiu-jitsu, so I'm sure you learn some striking that you've learned in the underground, which you may not have learned at your other gym. You can just mix them together.
Because John trains under Nosy. John actually trains at Nosy for his Thai boxing, and then John teaches the Thai boxing at underground. So it's basically the same.
Same thing.
I just cut out the middleman and train with Nosy.
I should know this. Is John still fighting in one? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
He's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, but one ain't flying. One ain't flying foreigners at the moment. So.
No. I would love to see him transition to MMA. That'd be great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe secret. in the
Yeah, mate,
future.
what a great person to train with, though. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? For your striking, he's an unbelievable striker, and you got Steve, unbelievable jiu-jitsu as well. It's just set up, really, aren't you? To be fair, completely, Chanel. So trainings are going well. You know, are you? So what are you doing at the moment, sort of thing? You literally just training, are you going out and about, or are you still locking yourself down?
I'm going out and about. I don't really like believe in like staying indoors and like just well everything that's going on. So I'm just training. I'm trying to get in a lot of training and stuff like that.
That's it. That's fair enough. And is your next one at 57, or you cutting to 52?
57.
That's it. Yeah. No, I was just wondering. I thought, God, you got to start cutting now. You know what I mean?
I know. I put on a little bit from quarantine as well. That's why.
Nah, there's nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
Chanel. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Everyone has.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, you've all been celebrating the life of Jay and stuff like that. And, you know, so I'm sure you've all been having a few drinks and a few parties and stuff and celebrations.
It's been a mad month, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a crazy month, mate. Yeah, but no, it's just I just think, well, Chanel, I just want to quickly say I really appreciate you you coming on. You know, it's actually been a pleasure to talk to you. There's nothing better than speaking to the up and comers of the world, and especially from the UK, without being biased. You know what I mean? Because obviously you're the new breed of fighters coming through. You know, and I believe you guys and girls need as much exposure as anyone else does. And I appreciate you giving up your time. And you know, I've got a lot of time for your gym. You know, as well, like with Steve and everyone as well. I spoke to a lot of the guys. Have we bumped into each other at ECMA when I've interviewed?
Yeah.
We have, haven't we? Yeah, I thought I recognised. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you were there. And yeah, I'm a bit different at the moment. I'm not all suited up. I'm in all scraggy clothes and stuff like that. Do you know what? It's killing me. I need to get back into one of those events again. Because you know we do Bellator and stuff like that. But do you know what? I actually prefer ECMMA. I prefer the small ones.
Yeah.
Firstly, because I'm the only one there. It's great. You know what I mean? But I just think everyone's just so more down to earth, you know, and everyone's a bit. It's not so professionally like, oh no, you've only got 2 minutes of this person. It's like, no, just chill out. They won't even let us get in front of the camera at these big events anymore. We have to do scrums, which is fair enough for the fighter. Otherwise, you get asked the same question 12 times. But no, it's great shows, and I really hope. Obviously, I'm sure I will see you on there. And how did I miss? Was I ECMA 3? Because I interviewed all the winners. I must not have been at that one. So I don't remember chatting to you after a fight.
I don't know.
No, I must not.
I think because the BBC was there. I think I was running around a lot.
So who was there?
The BBC.
Oh,
I was doing a documentary. So.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, because you done your documentary, didn't you? Sorry to go back to. Yeah, you did. It was you, Molly, and I forgot the other one.
Corey.
That. Yeah. So I know. Sorry, I was just about to wrap it up, but tell us a little bit about that for us. So you've fought in all organisations. You've been fighting for years. You're 19 years old, and you got a documentary about yourself. That's pretty bad, isn't it? You know, how did that feel going with like Molly and you know the sort of level she is and all them sort of people?
That was amazing as well. And Corey, she just got signed for UFC as well. So the documentary was really amazing. I've watched myself back in the fights, and my fight camp leading up to the fight was amazing. I'm watching Corey and everyone on the documentary as well. It's really good.
Yeah, I think actually I do remember that actually going around with the cameras. No, yeah, I do remember them people going around, but that's fine. Don't worry, I'm not quite as big as the BBC yet, so it's fine. I'll let you off. It's right. but no, obviously you've done so much. So at the moment, you've done so much. You got the world as your oyster. You've got another 20 years minimum in this sport, you know. And this is it for you now. This is what you want to do. This is your focus, and this is going to be your career. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's a plan.
What does Mum think about it?
She's supportive. Sometimes she's like, oh, why don't you go to uni or do this and other things? But I love it. So if I love it, she loves it as well.
That's nice. Has she been to any of your fights before?
No. No, she went to my first ever decision fight. I think it was a British title, and I lost it. And then I banned her from coming to all of my fights. Yeah,
because you're probably like you're fighting, and you're like at the corner of your eye, you see your mum just like this. And you're like, oh, for God's sake. You know what I mean? But do you find it tougher though fighting in front of your home crowd or fighting abroad? Because obviously when you're abroad and you haven't got all your ticket sellers there, you're the bad guy as such. You know, some people find less pressure because their mum isn't watching. If you know what I mean.
I don't really mind fighting home crowd. Home crowd is better, obviously, because you have your supporters shouting for you, screaming for you, and that's really nice. But even when I go up north for like different countries and that, and I'm the away fighter, and then everyone's cheering for the other person, and when they call your name, just silence. I just find it funny, and I fight the same anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. I ask that question to every fighter I chat to, and a lot of them is very different. A lot of them actually say they prefer to fight away because they feel there's less pressure of all their friends and family watching them. You know what I mean? In case things don't go the way they want. But no, it's interesting to know. Well, Shanelle, before I let you go, sort of say thank you for coming on the show, of course. And I just want you just quickly, if we haven't people we haven't spoke about already, even if we have, just I want you to give the opportunity to just give a shout out to anyone, if you can remember them all, who got you to where you are, today. And if you forget anyone, don't worry. Steve got loads of people, so it's fine.
I don't know, so much people. Shout out to Steve, obviously, MMA coach, Chloe, my training partner, Chris for getting me to the level of stand-up where I am now. Everyone at the gym, basically, my parents, my friends, my supporters, everyone. And finally, shout out to Jay, forever and always in our hearts. Love you. Rest in peace.
That's it, man. Legend that guy was, man. Absolute legend. And the whole gym is full of legends as well. You know, and his legacy will live on. I'm sure his belts will stay hanging in that gym as well. He had a bloody enough of them. I said to him, God, you can melt them down and make some money, man. I said to him, because I think I spoke to him when he was in Barcelona after his Contenders fight.
Yeah.
Was it Contender? Yeah, I think it was Contenders. Yeah, when he was on that, and I'm like, yeah, all I can hear in the background are his mates all partying. I was like, you sure you're right? You sure you're right? It's like, yeah, fuck him, it's all right. Yeah, I'll just do it back in. It's fine. It's like, as long as we can turn the video off because we're all getting a bit lagged. So fine. But no, great memories. And also, you know, we live in a world of social media now, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't give a shit about. They don't want to do it, but it's part of the job now with fighting and stuff, isn't it? And getting your name out there. So just let people know where they can follow you on Instagram and places like that.
Follow me Instagram, Shanelle_Dyer, Facebook, Shanelle Dyer as well, and search me up on YouTube, Shanelle Dyer.
That's it. There you are, nice and easy. Do you know what I mean? And watch out for this.
And watch my BBC documentary, Inside the Cage, BBC 3, should be on iPlayer still.
Make sure you watch that as well. I've watched some of it. I haven't watched all of it yet, so I'll be checking it out. And if I remember, I'm not going to lie, I've got the best memory. I'll put a link to the documentary at the bottom of this on the YouTube channel as well, so they can click on it and go straight to it, because it's definitely worth the watch. And it just shows the up and comers. Hopefully, you'll follow in their footsteps and get signed by the UFC as well. That'd be the dream, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cage Warriors is a very good platform to lead on to UFC and things like that. And Graham Boylan's always happy to put people forward for it. So living the dream, he won't hold you back. Well, Shanelle, absolutely fantastic talking to you. Have really, really good luck on your next fight.
Thank you.
I'd like to say I'll be there, but they're all closing the doors, aren't they, at the moment? So, I'll be watching somewhere, and you know, hopefully I'll bump into you at Team Underground when I come down and say hello, if not another event.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Cool, Shanelle. Thanks very much. And again, really look forward to watching your career, and I'm sure there's only big things to come.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, have a good day. Yeah, and look forward to seeing your fight. Let's get that to 5-1. 4-1, sorry. Let's have it. What is it? 5-1. It would be 5-1, wouldn't it, if you win?
4-1. 4-1.
Am I losing my mind today? Gosh, you know, I think I best get back in that garden and carry on picking up weeds. Okay, you have a lovely day, and I will chat to you soon.
Thanks. Bye.